everyone, this is Karen.
Hello everybody, I am Shane.
Today we're looking at part 2 of our famous love story, and it's called Romeo and
Juliet.
And the vocabulary words are objection.
Objection.
Danny's main objection to the plan is that it will cost too much money.
Reunite.
Reunite.
After months apart, Emma was finally reunited with her husband.
Devise.
Devise.
The scientists devised a new method for producing clean energy.
Tomb.
Tomb.
The tomb of King Tut was opened on February 16th, 1923.
Await.
Await.
A large crowd eagerly awaited the arrival of the famous singer. So we're looking at part 2 of our story,
Yes.
Romeo and Juliet.
So we left off with Romeo being
Banished.
banished.
That's right.
So what happens when Juliet finds out that he's gone?
And she feels very, very sad, of course.
Right.
So she wants to come up with a plan. So she went to Friar Lawrence for help.
That's the guy who married them, right?
That's right.
So what kind of plan do they devise?
Well, I think it's pretty clever because I think she wants to fake her own death because her dad wants her to marry somebody else and she does not want to do that.
No. So she wants to fake her death, and then that means that they'll think she's dead, and then she could run away and be with Romeo.
That's right. So I think she has a potion.
Right.
That she can drink so to fake her own death.
So she takes it, and then she's dead. Right?
But not really.
But not really. But Romeo hears about this.
That's right.
But he just hears that she's dead. He doesn't know that it's a plan.
And oh no, then what is he going to do? He must have been heartbroken.
Yeah, so actually he gets some poison. He's going to go back, and maybe he's thinking about killing himself if he sees her there dead. So he wants to be by her side and kill himself. But will he find out that actually it was just a plan and they can live happily ever after?
Or maybe is it going to be too late?
Oh, wow.
How exciting.
Okay, let's find out what happens.
All right, enjoy.
Romeo and Juliet.
Juliet's father wants her to marry a man of noble birth named Paris, despite his daughter's objection. As her heart still belongs to Romeo, Juliet decides to reunite with him and goes to Friar Lawrence for help. The two of them devise a plan in which Juliet must fake her own death.
Welcome to Romeo and Juliet, Part 2. Hello everyone, my name is Jeff.
And I'm Mike. And yes, it's part 2 of our look at the famous Shakespeare romance, Romeo and Juliet. So far,
And you know what? I'm bothered.
What's bothering you, Jeff?
Bothered big time because, remember, Romeo has just been banished. Hey, you got to get out of Verona.
He was fighting when he shouldn't have been fighting.
And then, but, I mean, Juliet doesn't go with him.
Well, she had
What
stuff
a
to do.
letdown.
Well, you know, she had a test at school, and her friends were going to go somewhere on the weekend. She was really excited about it, and she just bought this new pair of shoes, and they would have been ruined on the muddy roads, and so she decided to stay, but they'll text.
It doesn't.
You know, they'll line each other occasionally.
It doesn't sound like true love or star-crossed lovers in action, Mike.
You just wait, because true love is here. It's Romeo and Juliet. Don't worry. We'll have enough of your true love, mister. Anyway, let's get back to today's story and see what happens. Yeah, Romeo has been kicked out of the city of Verona. He was fighting against the law. He killed Juliet's cousin Tybalt. And it looks like their romance is going to end before it even had a chance to begin. So let's see what happens. It says Juliet's father wants her to marry a man of noble birth named Paris, despite his daughter's objection. Romeo's not around. Juliet's father probably didn't even know about Juliet and Romeo, so he's like, hey, Juliet, you're 16 years old. It's time for you to get married. Here's this nice boy named Paris. His family's real rich, and hey, it would be a good partner for you. But Juliet's like, no, I don't want to marry Paris. I don't like him. He's got big ears or some reason. She has an objection. When you have an objection, you have a problem with something. There's some kind of disagreement. When you say no, you are stating an objection. You are saying why you don't want to do something, you don't agree, you don't like it. You're just saying no, basically. Danny's main objection to the plan is that it will cost too much money. This is the reason he's saying no. It will cost too much money. He has an objection, and that's what it is. So her objection is, who's this Paris guy? I don't like him. He's got big ears. Plus, she really loves Romeo still.
And as her heart still belongs to Romeo, Juliet decides to reunite with him and goes to Friar Lawrence for help.
Feel better?
This is what I've been waiting 2 days for this. I feel better.
Good.
Anyways, let's talk about the verb reunite. Okay, when you unite two things, you bring them together. When you reunite two things, you bring them together again. So Romeo and Juliet have been separated. Okay, and soon they are going to reunite. They're going to come together again. Yay! For example, after months apart, Emma was finally reunited with her husband. How nice. How nice. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on. The two of them devise a plan in which Juliet must fake her own death.
It's not the best plan.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, it's not the best plan.
I thought they were going to get a carriage and just find
run
Romeo.
away.
Yeah.
They could just get on a boat and go to France. But they come up with another plan. This plan is going to require Juliet to fake her own death, to pretend to die. And the idea is that when she's dead, they'll sneak off and make a new life together or something like that. As we said, not the best plan to devise. When you devise something, you invent something, you create something, you come up with something new. That's basically it. So instead of saying they invented a plan or they made up a plan or they created a plan, they devised a plan. For example, the scientists devised a new method for producing clean energy. We could also say they invented a new method for producing clean energy. So this is their plan. They came up with it on their own. They didn't read about it in a book or have someone tell them. It's not the best plan, but it's the plan. So we're going to have to just go with it.
It's what we've got.
Yeah.
All right, folks, let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, Juliet's going to fake her own death.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。我们在第一天的故事读到，罗密欧被亲王驱逐，那他逃离了维洛纳这个城市。朱丽叶听到这件事，她非常悲伤。Jeff 老师在开场的时候呢，他用到 star-crossed 来描述这对恋人。Star 就是星星的那个字，然后后面加上连字号，再加上 crossed。Star-crossed 可以用来形容是不幸的或是倒霉的。故事接着写到，朱丽叶的父亲不顾女儿反对，想要把她嫁给一个名叫 Paris 的贵族。不过朱丽叶心里仍然爱着罗密欧，想要跟他重聚，于是呢就去找劳伦斯修士帮忙，也就是那一位帮他们秘密证婚的那位修士。好，那这两个人呢就想出一个计划，就是先让这个朱丽叶装死，然后把大家蒙骗过去之后，也许他就可以跟罗密欧私奔到别的地方，重新开始新的生活了。Mike 老师刚刚用到 sneak off 是用来表达偷偷溜走的意思 ，sneak 是拼作 S-N-E-A-K sneak off。好，那这边还有3个单字 objection 它表示反对或是异议不同的意见的意思。那么老师在解释这个单字时用到 disagreement， 它是拼作 D-I-S-A-G-R-E-E-M-E-N-T disagreement 可以用来表达意见分歧、不同、不一致。好，下一个单字 reunite 这个动词表示重逢、团聚，那它的字首 re 就有再次重新的意思。再来看 devise 这个动词，它表示想出、策划或是设计。好，那我们接着回到课文中。
Romeo and Juliet.
She drinks a potion, and on the day of her wedding to Paris, her family discovers her dead body. Friar Lawrence takes her body to a tomb to await Romeo's return. However, Romeo never gets word of the plan and instead receives news from a servant that Juliet is dead. He heads back to Verona with some poison for himself.
All right, let's put this plan into action. Juliet is going to fake her death.
Yep.
She drinks a potion, and on the day of her wedding to Paris, her family discovers her dead body. Dead in quotes, because she's faking her death.
So she takes like a strong sleeping potion that just makes her seem to be dead. She's killed herself instead of marrying Paris, but of course we know that she's not really dead. So everyone else acts like she is. It's terribly sad, but they do what they would do if this young person had died. It says Friar Lawrence takes her body to a tomb to await Romeo's return. By the way, Friar Lawrence, the guy who married them, who knew about their love affair, he was in on the plan. So the three of them basically, or at least Friar Lawrence and Juliet, knew the plan. So he does what he should. He's like, oh, she's dead. That's too bad. I'll take her to the tomb. Because that's what you would do.
With a dead body?
Sure.
Okay, when we're talking about a tomb, by the way, we're talking about a place where a dead body is taken to be buried. Now, let's say it's made out of wood. Usually you'd call that a casket or a coffin. A tomb is usually made out of stone, and it might actually be bigger and a little bit grander than a simple coffin or a casket. So anyways, Friar Lawrence takes her body to this tomb, which makes sense. When someone dies, you entomb them. You put them in a tomb where their remains will stay for eternity. For example, the tomb of King Tut was opened on February 16th, 1923.
All right.
What a famous tomb.
That was a very famous tomb. Yes, a very famous burial chamber. And Friar Lawrence is there at the tomb awaiting Romeo's return. To await is basically to wait for. It's kind of a fancy way of saying, I will wait for you here. I will await you here at 4 o'clock. Most people wouldn't say that these days, but you could write it or read it. It's a word that basically just means wait for someone or something. For example, a large crowd eagerly awaited the arrival of the famous singer. Yeah, they eagerly waited for the arrival of the famous singer. Basically the same idea. So here's the plan. Friar Lawrence is there with Juliet at the tomb. Juliet still seems to be dead, but we know it's just a potion. However, here's the problem with the plan.
Something is going to go wrong.
Here's the problem.
Something has to go wrong.
Right. However, and here it is. However, Romeo never gets word of the plan, and instead receives news from a servant that Juliet is dead. So they didn't text each other, they didn't line each other. He doesn't know this plan, which seems like a bit of a problem with the plan. When she's pretending to be dead, he thinks she really is dead because he didn't know the plan, because Juliet or Father Lawrence didn't think to tell Romeo the plan.
Note to self.
Yeah.
Never devise a plan in which you fake your own death.
Right.
Anyways, Romeo heads back to Verona with some poison for himself.
He's going to kill himself because his true love is dead.
Go ahead and drink the poison, which is probably real poison.
Because he doesn't know the plan. He doesn't know the plan. They never told him the plan.
How terrible. Let's go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, let's have all of our hearts broken.
朱丽叶和劳伦斯修士有想出一个计划，在这个计划当中呢，就是要先让朱丽叶装死。那么朱丽叶她就喝下一种药剂，在她跟那一位贵族婚礼的当天，家人就发现了她的尸体，大家都以为她真的死了。然后接着呢，劳伦斯修士就把朱丽叶身体带到一座坟墓，等待罗密欧回来。我们先来看两个单字 ，tomb tomb， 它表示坟墓、陵墓。我们在 tomb 的前面加上 en 会变成动词 entomb， 就表示埋葬的意思。那老师们刚刚还提到一些相关单字可以学起来，像是 burial b-u-r-i-a-l burial 表示葬礼或是埋葬。那么 casket c-a-s-k-e-t casket 表示棺材。还有 coffin 也可以指棺材，它是拼作 C-O-F-F-I-N， 这个字表示棺材灵柩。还有用到 remains R-E-M-A-I-N-S remains 表示遗体、遗骸。那当这个意思来解释时，固定会用复数形。老师还有用到 eternity， 好，就是人挂掉了就永恒、永远躺在那里。我们用到 eternity 这个字表示永远、永恒，它是拼作 E-T-E-R-N-I-T-Y eternity。再来看下一个单词 await 表示等待。那故事接着就写到说，然而罗密欧完全不知道那个计划，反而是从一个仆人那边听到朱丽叶死亡的消息。于是呢，他就带着要给自己喝下的毒药回到维罗纳。好，我们先来看两个重点。第一个是 get word of something， 是表达得知某事。那么 word 在这边呢，固定用单数，用来表达消息、讯息的意思。例如He was still in prison when he got word of his mother's death. 当他得知母亲过世的消息时，他仍然在狱中服刑。好，第二个重点是 news, believe, idea, fact, rumor 等等这些表示讯息啊、事实或是看法等等的名词后面，我们常常会接 that 子句来说明它的内容。例如It's hard to accept the fact that he's no longer with us. 他已经离开人世的这个事实令人难以接受。好，这句话课文中
Romeo and Juliet.
Upon seeing Juliet's lifeless body lying in the tomb, Romeo takes the poison and dies, but not before giving her one last kiss. Just then, Juliet wakes up and sees Romeo dead next to her. Unable to bear the pain of living without him, she ends her life with his dagger. When the Montague and Capulet families find the bodies of the two young lovers, they promise to end their war and to live together in peace.
Now, upon seeing Juliet's lifeless body lying in the tomb, Romeo takes the poison and dies, but not before giving her one last kiss. How romantic.
Very romantic.
Where is the friar?
Well, he stepped out. He had to go do something. He I don't know. He was making...
Romeo, don't take that poison because she's not actually dead.
Yeah, it was late at night. There was something on the radio. He had to make toast. I don't know. He wasn't there. That's the point. So Romeo sees her, gives her one last kiss, takes the poison, and dies in the tomb right next to Juliet's dead body. But of course, it's not a dead body. It's just a sleeping body. So just then, Juliet wakes up and sees Romeo dead next to her, like really dead, not fake dead, not pretend dead, not sleeping potion dead, dead.
So, there you go. Like Mike said, Romeo is dead next to her there. Not fake dead, real dead. And unable to bear the pain of living without him, she, Juliet, ends her life with his dagger. And then when the Montague and Capulet families find the bodies of the two young lovers, they promise to end their war and to live together in peace. Do I buy this? No way.
No?
I just don't buy it. The Capulets and the Montagues are going to continue fighting.
You don't think seeing their young people kill themselves because of this family feud will make them rethink their, whole thing and say, well, our family argument has led to the death of these two wonderful young people who could have lived together, happily if we didn't have this.
I will give it a 7% chance.
7%. Okay.
7%.
You've done the math.
I've done the math.
You've done
7%.
the math. Okay. Next time someone bumps into someone at a party and spills wine on them, the fight's back on. That's kind of what you're saying? Something small will just burst that fight
What type
back
of
into
wine
life.
is it?
Red wine all over a really nice white silk doublet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, don't get that.
Let the war begin once
Yeah,
again.
It's going to take something small and it'll be back on.
Anyways, folks, at that, all jokes aside, we still do have the what do you think question to ask and answer. Mike,
Yes.
what do you think about Romeo and Juliet's act of killing themselves for love?
Well, since this is a play, I think it's really romantic because it shows that they would rather be dead than be apart. I think that is a wonderful thing in a play, as a story, as a way of showing how profound, how deep their emotions were for each other. In real life, I think it would be a terrible, terrible, sad thing to happen.
Yeah.
And no one should think about doing that in reality.
How much do they actually know about one another?
They're 16, they're young, they're in love. I get it, but not in real life. But in a play, it's a great play. And, you know, whenever they finish that play, it's hard to find a dry eye in the audience. It's Romeo and Juliet.
It's Romeo and Juliet.
You know.
All right, folks, with that, Romeo and Juliet have now come to an end, and so is our lesson, and it's time for us to say bye-bye.
Take care.
罗密欧带着给自己喝下的毒药回到维洛纳，他一看到朱丽叶的尸体躺在坟墓里，就服毒身亡。但是在死前给了她最后一吻。我们先来看3个重点。第一个是 upon 后面可以加名词或动名词来表达一怎么样就怎么样，例如 Upon smelling the food, I got hungry. 一闻到食物的味道，我就肚子饿了。第二个重点是 see 当感官动词，它表示看到。那我们用 see 加上受词加现在分词 VING， 就表示看到某动作正在进行。例如 We saw a puppy chasing its own tail. 我们看见一只小狗狗正在追逐自己的尾巴，一直在绕圈圈。第三个重点，我们文中写到But not before giving her one last kiss. 在这边呢，其实是由 But he did not die before giving her one last kiss 的省略，表示说在死之前先给她最后一吻。那我们也可以照类似的例句 She bid him farewell, but not before giving him a kiss on the cheek. 她在道别之前先亲吻了他的脸颊。好，那么故事最后写到说，朱丽叶醒来看到爱人死在她身边，她没有办法忍受没有罗密欧的生活，于是呢，就拿罗密欧的匕首来结束自己的生命。最后，两大家族发现这2个年轻恋人的尸体时，他们就承诺要结束战争，要和平共处了。好，文中用到 dagger 这个字 ，dagger 就表示匕首或是短剑。好，另外 Mike 老师最后有用到 profound 来描述罗密欧与朱丽叶之间的情感，那这个字是拼作 PROFOUND， profound 表示深刻的、深切的，或是指巨大的。好，那么以上是今天的讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
Phew! This mountain is much taller than I thought it would be. Ooh, I can see the tops of the clouds from here. It's 3,776 meters tall. Wow! It looks so much smaller from Tokyo. Mount Fuji is a volcano. It is still active. That means it can still erupt. Ooh, but don't worry, scientists don't think it will erupt anytime soon. The last time it erupted was 300 years ago. I think I'm safe up here for now. Many artists love to draw and paint Mount Fuji because its shape is beautiful. The mountain is in many famous paintings. Lots of people love to climb the mountain. Around 200,000 people climb it every year. Some people worry that this is too many people. The plants on the mountain may be damaged. Oh, it is a very long climb, so be prepared. I hope I can get down, okay?
See you next time!